Hey everybody, it's Chris Harrison here with our next episode of the Main Points from Main Place. Today we have Stephanie Endsley with us. Stephanie is with Having a Ball Productions, and she is the event planner for the Centennial Lake Fest. This year is the 100th anniversary of Lake Decatur, and Decatur as a whole is having a party to honor the lake for 100 years. So Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to visit.
Great.
This project has been a passionate project and something wonderful to be involved in. I tell you, I think that if you've ever lived in Decatur for ever a moment, you're a Decaturite for life, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a birthday party for Lake Decatur for all of us Decatorites, whether we live here now, whether we've lived here before, or what our relationship is to Decatur.
That's great.
So the story of it is really quite interesting because it's a big circle, right? And the city and the park district and all of the parties involved are trying to better make the next arc, right, of that circle. So 100 years and the next 100 years, and how we can be better citizens and how we can be take better care of our resources.
Yes.
Okay, so it started out that the lake is turning 100 this year, the park district is turning 100 next year. Everyone was working on these wonderful projects, and they needed to get on the same page. So that's where I came in. I was very honored to be asked to kind of help advise and get everybody on the same page, get everything organized. So I went home, marinated, and thought about it, and it's just really important. I mean, it's an important moment. It's something that deserves, the recognition. And I chatted with my friends and visited a little bit and realized that, the beginning of the lake started with A.E. Staley. Mm-hmm. He actually said, okay, if we're going to continue to do business here, I have to have this resource for manufacturing, okay? He actually bought another area where he was going to make his own lake outside of Peoria.
Oh, really?
Interestingly enough.
Okay.
So Decatur said, okay, well, we better, get him some water, right?
Let's build the lake.
Let's build a lake.
Yes.
And so that was how the lake began. So in conversations with his grandson, Mark, who is a very dear friend of mine, I was telling him the story, okay, the lake's turning 100 years old, and he thought, that is a very good time to, number one, honor his family's accomplishments in this town. And even though he doesn't live here now, he's my neighbor over in Springfield, he still has strong emotional ties to the town, and wanted to just say thank you, basically, to Decatur for what they are and what they were to his family and personally to him. So it is kind of a token of their appreciation that they donated a sum of money and purchased the naming rights for Basin 3, which is where the Staley Pump House used to be.
Oh, okay.
So the connection to him was, though the pump house was no longer theirs at its demise, it was still a nostalgic thing for him personally and for his family. So that then changed the Lake Fest as a whole, right? Because all of a sudden, instead of having a festival that we had to be concerned about the financial needs of, we were fully funded.
Sponsorships and costs and
fully funded, right? So all of a sudden we thought, okay, in talking with Mark, it was very important that he gifted this birthday party to all of the people that live in Decatur. So Centennial Lake Fest is a free, family-friendly event where families can come down that weekend, enjoy myriad activities, and not spend any money.
Awesome.
They can buy food and beverage from food trucks, of course. There are things available for purchase. They can go to the art fair and buy fine art from local artists. But as far as the main activities that are taking place, it was very important to all of us in the planning committee that they were free.
That's great. And I think for Decatur, it's great to have something like that. And then again, that the Centennial Fest is for everyone to enjoy the lake. I'm a boater. There's boaters. But this is for everyone, not just boaters. This is for paddle boaters. This is for people that want to stroll along the lake, people that enjoy the view or the breeze. This is really for everyone to be part of Decatur.
We're even hoping that maybe we might bring people down that maybe haven't even been to the lake.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting if you're from Decatur, that there is a whole portion of the population that we have a lake.
Right.
So that was a trick.
Yes.
Coming up with activities that would say, yes, we have a lake, come down, I'll give you a ride, we're going to do something cool, and you can hang out.
Awesome.
So that was really kind of the mission, was to think of, okay, how do we say thank you and appreciate and provide experiences? Because as I talk to people about this project, everyone has memories about the lake.
Right.
Whether some of them, when we were teenagers, there were those stories.
Yep.
My husband worked at Lake Patrol when he was a teenager. People talk about, goodness, there's a whole Facebook page now devoted to people that are posting pictures of history and memories that they have. So the idea was to create a moment that would then be that memory maybe for the next generation. If we've done our job, that's what will happen.
Right. That's awesome.
Hopefully.
And there's so many different activities that are going to be going on. I know there's a Facebook page. And then I also found on the City of Decatur's website, there's a page dedicated to Centennial Lake Fest. And that's where I went last night and this morning and found a lot. But just a few things. You're having a car show. There's going to be food trucks. There'll be a lighted boat parade. I believe that's on Friday night.
Friday night.
The Guinness Book of World Records. Tell me more about that.
Oh, goodness. That has been quite the learning adventure. So we are going to
Because you don't just do that, do you? You just
No,
say, we're going to break a record.
You think you do.
Right. There's a lot to it.
A little more involved than that. So we are going to break the record for the most amount of plastic bottle boats launched at once.
Who knew there was a record? But
Beth
Decatur
Stringer,
will
actually,
be in the books.
she called and said, do you remember this? This is a great idea. I'm like, oh, that is a great idea. And the best thing is, it's 320. So we have to launch 322 boats at one time, which is achievable.
Right.
So we are in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club.
Nice.
And our supplies will be arriving next week. They will have a clinic at their club where the kids that are members there, also not even the kids that are members there, because it's kind of a hub for that neighborhood.
Yes.
It's actually a lot larger of a organization than what I knew prior. I thought, there was an after-school program, kids paid. No, the whole outside corridor has, their park. There's family picnics there all the time. It's really kind of a core of their community.
Like a neighborhood. I mean, a community.
There is a whole microcosm of Decatur that is, that uses those services. Anyway.
Good.
So they're going to have a clinic where kids can come in, make these boats, whatever, and then throughout Centennial Lake Fest, there will be transportation service from Decatur Public Transit back and forth from Boys and Girls Club to the lake continuously for the weekend. So anyone in that neighborhood or beyond that wants to park at Boys and Girls Club and hop on our shuttle can have a free ride down to the lake. Okay.
That's great.
So then on Sunday at 2:00, we hope that there will be a crowd amassed of people that have made these boats or that just want to be spectators. And our Guinness Book of World Records person.
Because you have to have
Oh, yes.
Okay. An
Yes.
official
Yes.
on record.
They examine all of the boats, and then we will launch them off of the beach. Lake Patrol will collect them, and then the recycling company in Decatur will bring a truck and pick up all of these boats after they're wet and they've been launched.
Yeah.
And they have volunteered to then take all the components apart again and recycle them.
Great.
So they were recycled. They were used once in their regular life, as they should be, right?
Yes.
And then they're used again when they're repurposed into this little boat thing. And then after we've used them and won this record, there will be a video, and then they will be recycled again. So
awesome. And Decatur will be, again, in the record books. And Decatur's in the record books for so many things, whether it be, manufacturing of the different, whether it be Mueller or Staley or ADM, to the Chicago Bears. There's just a lot of things that Decatur has
But I don't think we've
in
ever
the
been
record
in the
books.
Guinness
I
Book of
know.
World Records.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I've learned why. It was a large chunk of my budget.
Oh, really?
Remarkable. But it will be well worth it because, again, it's the experience. It's that idea of creating a memory for people in Decatur.
That were part of that.
That were part of that moment, yes. When I was in junior high school, I'll never forget, Gorbachev came and he visited Dwayne Andreas. And all of us, I was at TJ, came out of the school and we lined the streets and he drove past and you didn't see him or whatever, it was a car. But it was a moment. It was something I would never, forget, the crowd, the excitement, that moment. And I'm hoping, if we're lucky and work hard enough, that we can create that sort of moment.
Yeah.
And when the lake turned 100.
And I think it's going to be that moment. There's a lot of other moments too. There's a lot going on in 2 days here, 3 days, counting Friday night. We really kick it off with the boat parade on Friday night.
That was accidental because I realized there will be food and beverage, including adult beverage, available for purchase. So that is kind of what guided our festival times, because I want it to be very family friendly.
Absolutely.
So it's noon to 8 on Saturday.
Perfect.
Noon to 5 on Sunday. Well, then it's never dark.
Yeah.
So to have a lighted boat parade, it has to be dark. So all of a sudden we thought, okay, well, we'll just have a little pre-party. So the Devon is going to have a free movie showing of Top Gun, but the newer one.
The new one, Maverick.
Yes. And so there will be people amassed at the Devon, and that's free.
Yep. Perfect.
So then the boat parade will come by the Devon, and people can have beverage and whatever and watch the boat parade for this little pre-party thing.
Very nice.
Yes. So that was an accidental happening, but I think it will be beneficial.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So people can watch it from the Devon. They can watch it from the beach house, which will be open. They can watch it from their homes on the lake. We're pretty excited about it.
Nice. Neat. Now, there's also a lot of music going on, too. I know you have 2 different stages.
Oh, yes.
And I believe I've counted 14 different acts.
Yes.
What's the highlight of those? I know you've got some locals and...
They're all local.
Okay,
So Darren Kaufman is being an event planner means that you don't do every piece yourself. You seek out talent, people that are in the know. And so I got this amazing committee of chair people that are very good and know their piece and also their community.
So these 14 acts are all local?
Every single one of them is a local. Every single thing that's happening is local.
Awesome.
Which was a trick for me because my event company is not focused on Decatur, so I had to turn away a lot of people. But this is a party specifically for Decatur.
Yep.
So every artist is from Decatur.
You've got the Scoville Mobile Zoo. You've got yoga at the lake on Saturday afternoon. You've got Touch a Truck. I assume that's kids get the opportunity to
all sorts
climb in a big rig.
Equipment will be out there. There will be bounce houses by the Touch a Truck area. The Children's Museum is bringing a mobile exhibit all in that region. The Touch a Truck thing is cool because I think that's a moment that a kid will climb on a fire truck and think, ooh, I want to grow up and be a fireman.
Right.
Or, they might climb on a piece of excavating equipment or, see a bulldozer. Things that are normal to those of us that, or maybe not even. I'm not even sure I've been in a combine.
I'm going to get on the fire truck and go, what does this do?
Oh, I know.
What does this do?
And so Ryan at the city said, are we going to turn off the horns? I'm like, oh, God, no. That's the whole, honk all the horns. I mean, it's fine. That's the point. Pull the thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we as the planning committee thought that's an opportunity for kids to dream about what they might want to be when they grow up.
Yes.
And also for, local businesses or whatever to be able to show off some of their cool stuff. So
awesome.
That's a portion that is of no cost to us, but again, will create an experience.
Absolutely.
We also have free face painting and caricature artists that will be down there the whole time.
Mechanical bull?
The mechanical bull is also for adults.
Okay.
I will tell you, this is not my first time having it out, and it is warmly embraced.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
A lot of people have a sense of humor,
Yes.
and that's a time that they showcase it publicly.
Perfect.
Yes.
Great.
So it will be manned
Okay.
by professionals.
I've seen the professionals run those, and they know how to work them just right. And when they want someone off, they know just what to do to toss them off.
And if you need just a moment, they will make sure that you have that too.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Let you have that moment.
Yes.
That one time you rode the bull.
The other cool part about the circle, so I started to tell you the story about the circle, the
Yes.
Staley family, the community. Well, Primient is now the new, what was Staley, Tate, and Lyle.
Yep.
Okay. So they have decided that they wanted to be a part because they're the next arc of the circle. So they will actually have an area right next to the beach house in the grass place where they will have a tent devoted to anyone that has ever worked for Staley's.
How neat.
So they have a whole database of current employees, of course, Tate and Lyle employees, Staley employees, retirees, this whole database of people. And so they have invited all of these people to come down on them, have a seat in their tent, have a little bit of lunch, and enjoy the things that are happening at the Lake Fest.
Awesome.
So we're trying, again, to connect, to make those connections for the whole story of what is the lake and also what is Staley's.
Right.
Next to that Primient tent, or rather adjacent, there will be a mobile Staley museum.
Perfect.
So the museum is on North Street, Right.
Yes.
So they will be bringing a mobile exhibit down to show a little bit more about the history of the lake that will be there. So that's kind of a cool part of the story. What else? Oh, we have art fairs going on. I think we have 40.
So you have 40 art vendors?
And they're locals.
That's awesome.
Isn't it crazy?
And it looks to me like it's set up on that boardwalk from like the beach house and the beach around, so it's all right on that lakefront. I mean, just a great place to take a stroll, enjoy some art, enjoy the breeze off the lake. I mean, that's really the perfect place to put something like that.
Then the end of that boardwalk, end of the art fair, will be where our fishing contests are held off on this pier. So the whole event takes place from where Lake Patrol is, right, all the way down to what I call the old amphitheater.
Right. Yes, there is a little amphitheater there.
Yes, which will be used for boss performances and some other local children's groups
that are going to be going on this weekend also. Okay.
And then that pier at the end, we will have fishing contests where England Expeditions is coming out, and they will have, it's free, and we will have all the equipment you need. If you have your own pole, great, bring it. If you don't, great, we've got one for you. We've got the bait, we've got poles, we've got all the things. And every so many hours or whatever, he'll be giving away prizes for the biggest. He's bringing the scales, like the official things, and they'll get Splash Cove passes or whatever. And he's doing various age groups. Forgive me that I don't know much about fishing, but I think he's got
that's why you've got Matt,
0 to 5, right? Yeah, like 0 to 5, and then 5 to 10, whatever. He's got it broken up, and even for adults.
Good. Very good.
And again,
because some adults have never been fishing or don't know how to fish.
I don't know how to fish, but I'm certainly going to give it a shot.
Right.
And that I think was, the ways to highlight the lake as much as possible. The standing paddle boards will be free that weekend. We're gifting that. There will be, again, the fishing. Oh, then there's these hover surfboards. Have you ever seen this?
I've seen them, yes.
So Surf Springfield, that's the only thing I brought from out of town because I couldn't find it locally.
It is not
local.
They're
coming out and bringing several of these hoverboards, and anyone over the age of 12, if they sign a little consent, can give it a try.
That's great. All paid for.
All paid for.
That just makes it over the top too. Is just that everything's free. You can come do so many things that, there are costs to do those, to go fishing, do the stand-up paddle boards, to do the hover surfing. And so that's, again, I think, thank you very much to the Staley Family Foundation for that gift.
Absolutely.
That's a huge,
we're so thankful and grateful. And, it's been such a joy to work with the city, the park district. Their staff has been fantastic. The CV. Oh, Terry. Good Lord. What could we ever do without Terry Hamill? I mean, literally, that woman is a force to be reckoned with on her own. But she's been a key component. But on the planning committee, again, Decatur has so much talent.
Yes.
And I think that when you live here, when I moved away probably 8 years ago, down the street, Springfield, right?
Sure.
It's just
Right.
the same thing.
Right.
But when you just take one step back and you look forward, this town is just rich with talent, musical talent, artists, people that have wonderful hearts and community and volunteerism. And I mean, our law enforcement has been a huge, because security is a large component.
Yep.
I mean, all of these branches coming together and to make one birthday party for Decatur. I mean, it has just been such a blessing to be a part of that. It's humbling to see how much talent there is
all
here.
come together.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very exciting. July 8th and 9th, at the lakefront is really where it's at. I think one other thing I want to hit on is the sailboat regatta.
Oh,
I
yes.
think the sailboats have always been so intriguing to me. And there's an allure to it. It's like you got to know how to do it. I mean, I have a boat. I can get on the boat, turn the key, push the throttle, and it goes. Sailboats don't work that way. So I'm really interested to see this.
Okay, this is actually a much larger deal than when I started the project. Again, the Commodore
Yacht Club.
Yacht Club.
Yes.
Greg Florian is the chair of the Sailboat Regatta.
Excellent, yes.
So they actually have invited people from all over the nation. And so there are, I think, 25 travel sailboats that are coming from other states.
Oh my.
To participate. And so they will be camping by their clubhouse, and they will be there all weekend.
How fun.
And so their competitive spirit has been so fun to watch too. So there will be quite a spectacle for us to see.
How neat.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. And again, I'm a boater, so I'm out on the lake and I see sailboats, and my boat functions differently than theirs.
Yes.
And I understand that and respect that. And I think, again, that's part of this Lake Fest is this is everyone's lake. Sailboaters, power boaters, fishing boaters, everything. So with that, I know there are some changes that are going to be happening to the power boaters. One of them is, and I got a letter from the city just informing me and notifying me that Basin 2 is where the regatta is going to be. So Basin 2 will be no wake zone for 9 to 4 on Saturday and 10 to 12 on Sunday. So for 4 hours, it's no wake zone. Just like when we do fireworks.
Absolutely. It's the same as the 4th of July.
Yes.
But the benefit for that is not related to this Lake Fest. El King is playing at the Devon that night. Okay.
Yes.
So boats will still have time after the regatta is over to come out and park so that they can enjoy the concert at the Devon.
Yes. And boaters can still be in the basin.
Of course.
It's just no wake, so that we can watch the sailboat races.
Of course.
Perfect.
So we tried to accommodate all of the needs of the weekend for everyone to the best of our ability.
Absolutely. And then also in a letter it says that the main boat launch, and really that area is going to be so busy and congested, they're not going to launch your boats in the Nelson Park launch, but all the others in the city are open.
Correct. If you know the lake and you've been down there 100 times, you know all the rules. Mm-hmm. But we were hoping that we would get people down that maybe don't. And so for safety reasons, we really needed to have no vehicular traffic in that region, because we're hoping kids are going to come out and play and climb on things. And so for safety reasons, the law enforcement, we really decided that we needed to be sure to have the least amount of incident as possible. Including safety, I should mention, Abbott EMS will have a health check tent throughout the entire festival, right by the beach house, where there will be cold water if someone doesn't feel well, an ambulance there, and EMS services. And we are thankful and grateful that they donated those services to us for the weekend. And that vehicle that's there will not be on... It is not one that was currently on shift. Okay. Meaning it's an extra additional staffing that they've brought in for the Lake Fest, just in case any sort of thing should happen. So safety is a major, it's going to be warm. Yep. We have to use our common sense. We have to eat. We have to drink water. Yes. We need to hydrate. But should something happen, there will be health services on site.
Excellent. Great.
free of charge for
Again,
us.
I was going to
Having
say,
donated it.
right.
That was so exciting too.
And really, everything's free of charge. Anyone can
Yes.
come down and
Yes.
have a lot of great experiences at the Centennial Lake Fest, free of charge. Obviously, if you want food and drink, buy some art, those types of things.
And the beach house will be open. I should mention, you can't park by there, but you should definitely go in there and have a refreshing cocktail.
Perfect.
And maybe an appetizer if you've eaten a food truck.
Okay.
So there will be plenty of things.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. I know we've missed something, but I think we've covered a lot here. And I think, if you're looking for something to do, you may not know what you may stumble upon. That's what I like about art fairs too, is sometimes you come across something you've just never seen before. And we know for a lot of people in Decatur, that's what's going to happen to them. They're going to walk down there and go, I didn't even know we had a lake here. I didn't know you could do that on a lake. I didn't know I could do this on a lake. I could rent a paddle board or a stand-up board. And so I think that's just a great opportunity for the lake and for Decatur as a whole.
I hope they come. We've built it. Now you just have to come.
I think they'll be there. So, well, Stephanie, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us. And if you're interested in more of our podcasts, you know where to follow us on all the normal stations. So thanks for tuning in. To check out past or future Main Points, find us at YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.